Hi everybody, it's Heath with the Music Technology Teacher Network, www.mutechteachernet.com. And this video is going to follow up on the last video I posted about creating materials that are going to be engaging and keep your students playing during this time of quarantine. Because again, I think that's really the most important thing, is to keep those students engaged and keep them on their instruments or keep them using their voices. So I'm going to show you some ideas today about how you can create some videos that will be engaging for them. So think about this like those exercise videos that came out in the early 80s. You know, Jazzercise. Remember how much fun those were?
Okay, now's the time. You gotta get up and boogie with this, honey. Yeah, you gotta find that boogie body. Okay, that's good. Looks good. Feel the beat. Chicka, 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 chicka. Now take it to the right, the left.
Now, I'm not saying that you need to wear a leotard to make all that happen, but the more you can make your videos engaging, I think the more likely the students are going to watch them, and I think the more likely that they're going to follow along. So let me start off first by telling you about what I'm using to create this video. Most of the time when I am doing video conferencing, I will use Google Meet. A lot of times when I'm making these videos, I'm using QuickTime on my MacBook Pro. But there's another app out there that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with called Zoom that is used for video conferencing, but you can also use it to record your screen and create videos. But there are a couple of things about Zoom that I want to show you before we get started. First of all, down here in this lower left box, if you click and go to audio settings, there are a couple of things with Zoom that need to be adjusted. First of all, usually in Zoom, this box is checked to automatically adjust the microphone volume. I would recommend unchecking that box, particularly if you're going to be recording music, because that's going to give you a better result. The other thing that's kind of related to this, if you click on this advanced button, is that typically this box is not checked when you're using Zoom. And it's important that you check this box so that you have the option to enable original sound from the microphone. And the reason that you do this, and once you have that box checked, up here in the upper left, you'll see you have the option to turn on original sound. Make sure that you click it so that it says turn off original sound. Because it says turn off original sound, that means original sound is now turned on. And the reason that we click these two boxes is because in Zoom, when you are recording just an audio track that includes mainly a speaking voice, what Zoom does automatically is it compresses the audio to help conserve the amount of memory it takes to capture that video. When you're recording voices, the frequency range of your voice is typically pretty limited. So Zoom can compress that audio sound without having much of an effect. But anytime that you are recording audio that includes like a musical instrument, you're typically going to have a much wider frequency range. So if Zoom is compressing those sounds automatically, it can do some pretty weird things to how that audio comes out. So the first thing that you want to do is get those audio settings correct in Zoom. Now, how to make these videos compelling. So first of all, if you come down to where it says video, one of the super cool things about Zoom is you'll see you have this option that says choose virtual background. So if you click on this, Zoom comes with some default settings that you can click and it'll create a virtual background. And the thing that's cool about this is that you don't need a green screen to create these backgrounds. Now, I would say that you don't need a green screen as long as you're running an up-to-date operating system. Right now I'm using my MacBook running on Catalina, so I can do these virtual backgrounds without a green screen. If you are running an older operating system, for example, on my desktop, I'm still running Yosemite. And in Yosemite, it will not support this virtual background without a green screen. So you can still do it, but you would just need to find, like maybe you happen to have a green sheet, or maybe if you can get access to some green like bulletin board paper that you can put up, or maybe you just have a room that has a green wall that you can use as a background. You can still use these virtual backgrounds in Zoom. So one of the others in here that comes as a default, this is pretty cool, is this live ocean setting. Now, one of the things to keep in mind as you're using this is not like a movie studio level green screen technology. You know, it's pretty basic. So you'll find that as you're using it, that you'll might get some weird things where you'll have an arm or something that comes out missing while you're recording. But once you kind of get the hang of it, you'll get some ideas. So just for example, if I wanted to make a video for my students of this large group daily workout. So again, as I mentioned before, this is going to be something that the students are familiar with, something that they know how to do. And it's just something, you know, those basic warm-ups that you like for students to do every day. So for example, once I have this set, I'm going to move a little bit further away from the camera here. So I may start this video and do something like this. Hi boys and girls, it's Mr. Mutech here. I hope you had a great weekend, and it's time to get started this week with our daily warm-up and workout with each other. So hopefully you have all your instruments ready to go. Have that right there at your side. We'll start, as we always do, with some breathing exercises. So if you just think about this, as I'm sitting here on Quarantine Beach, let me see you get your shark fins up and all ready to go. And we're going to go in for 4 and out for 4. Ready? Do this with me. And 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Fill those lungs up. Like an ocean breeze. Good. Now everyone relax. Let's roll our heads around. Pick those shoulders up and drop them. Make sure we stay nice and relaxed. Now let's reach over and grab those instruments and get those up. We're going to start off with just our long tones, starting on concert F, down a half step, up a whole, down a half step, up a half step. I think you know the drill. Keep breathing nice and deep. Stay nice and relaxed in those shoulders. And here we go. Instruments are up. And 1, 2, ready, and breathe. So on and so forth. So let's continue now with our scale exercise. So let's do concert E flat scale. We're going to use rhythm pattern 1, 2, and 3, and a 4. Percussion back there in the back. Let's do rudiment number 4. Okay, here we go. Everybody all together. Instruments are up. Nice light staccato articulations, please. And 1, 2, and 3, and a 4. Remember to keep that air moving. Keep those articulations nice and light and short. So on and so forth. So again, using the virtual background can be kind of a fun way to go. So at the beach, you might even want to show up with some beach wear, appropriate for school, of course. But that's a really neat background. So one of the other things that can be really cool about this is that Zoom will also let you import your own photos. So I've got like a picture here from my photo library of a nice sunset one day. Other backgrounds that you might import for all my friends out there in Charleston, South Carolina, the bridges down at Charleston. But one of the things that would be really, really awesome to give your students that sense of being in the band room or the orchestra room or the choir room is that if you have a picture of your classroom back at school, you can use that as your virtual background, and that is something that can make them feel like they're back in those rehearsal rooms. Because even as old as I am, I can still very vividly remember the band room when I was in high school, because Those rehearsal rooms for our students are really like kind of a home away from home. So let me show you an example now of a little excerpt that I had my daughter help me with, who's an oboe player. So for these small group videos, again, you would want to make these videos specific to an instrument group or an instrument family. So next is an example of using this virtual background in a small group setting. Take it away, Abby.
So an exercise that we can use to practice getting up in those higher notes is to play the G major scale. Let's say set your met at 72, let's just say. Playing it up the first 5 notes, down the first 5 notes, and then back up and down. So you're going to play it twice. Just to get that practice of the transition from the mid-range to the higher range without getting super, super, super high up. So let me show you that. And that's a simple exercise you could do after you warm up, but before you really dive into some work that you're working on. So let's all of you guys try it with me. So again, the first 5 notes, up and down twice. 5 and 6, 5, 6, 7.
Thanks, Abby. So I hope this video has been helpful to give you some ideas about how you can create some engaging videos for your students using the Zoom app. Again, during this time of quarantine, I think the really important thing is just to keep those students engaged, keep them playing their instruments, keep them using their voices during this time. I appreciate you so much checking out the video. I hope it's helpful. If it is, I would encourage you to share it with your colleagues, tell them all about it, and I would appreciate it so much if you would click on that subscribe button. That would be really awesome. In the meantime, I hope all of you stay safe. I hope you stay healthy. Make sure that you keep your distance, but never forget, a smile can go a long way. Take care, folks.